This is Eric Muathe with Muathe.com. All is well. Let's take a look at an IPO from mid-2019 that has had a fantastic run as of April this year. You can see on a month-to-month basis, the stock has seen continued follow-throughs on a monthly chart. So a nice gain, especially if you are able to capture this breakout here in the mid 60s. There's a breakout here which I'm going to show on the weekly chart, because if you are able to capture that breakout from the mid 60s, the stock has had a substantial gain over the last couple of months, with a high currently of about 153, with potentially more upside. Who knows? In this brief educational video, I want to discuss the need to always have a strategy of taking advantage of IPOs. The reason is very simple, is you don't know what company, what sector, what new invention, products or services are gonna be household names in the coming years and decades. So sometimes taking advantage of IPOs is the way to go, because they have less baggage. So again, one outright advantage of playing IPOs is they don't have all the bad taste that some seasoned stocks might have. And again, they could be taking advantage of new trends, new markets, new ideas. And most of these names tend to be less known before they become household names down the road. Now, sometimes you can get a little bit of an idea of how an instrument is being perceived by a market. And sometimes the initial reaction when it comes public is key. Here we can see an initial reaction. The stock IPO'd, let's call it about 35. And within 2 months was trading as high as 95 or so. Actually 100. So within a couple months was trading at 100. So this is a big gain. But you'll notice what happened is, if you take the high here and the low, we actually give back all those gains. But understand, sometimes this is just Wall Street playing games, because actually in reality this is where they take a huge advantage of this drop and they load up in this phase. Trust me, this is how it's done. As far as our eyes can see, this seems very bearish, but in truth, Wall Street insiders are using this phase to load up, because they know ahead of time that there's this action to be enjoyed. Now, one way you can take advantage of these types of moves is to always play the breakout game. Now, I was taking a look at the stock, and you can see here for paid subscribers, we've been fortunate to have mentioned this stock on multiple breakouts since the initial breakout as of April 22nd of this year. So the timing here especially was perfect, but there were other breakouts along the way. If we take a look at that April 22nd break, as you can see here, the stock is mentioned right here with a breakout level of 64.85. Now, because the monthly chart is not fully developed, and we're talking about this breakout here in April of this year, 2020, because we don't have fully developed RSI, I had to use the weekly chart. So let's take a look at the weekly, and we're going to keep the minimum requirements the same. So this is the weekly chart, and we're going to focus on the initial breakout as of April. So there is a weekly closing high there, and this is the breakout that we timed. Why is that? Is because if you take a look at this week here, you can see that all the minimum requirements for the ultimate Muathe breakout are met. Here we can see one of the MACDs moving to 3-year highs, all-time highs, and also the MACD moving above 0 for the first time ever. That can also give an upside push And we can see that the RSI was also moving to 3-year highs. In fact, in this case, because it was an IPO, was all-time highs. And that's why this was a breakout candidate for paid subscribe. So if you have a way of finding IPOs and just tracking them, setting your breakout alerts, anybody can do this in any market. Keep in mind, you can do the same thing for cryptos by tracking ICOs. There was also another recent breakout, but that's a subject for another day. And we also were able to capture this timing here. Again, based on the same principle, the same superior minimum requirements of the ultimate Muathe breakout. Again, anybody can do this if you have the candidates in front of you. Links are going to be description. The minimum requirement is very, very simple and yet very powerful. This one is time tested over 20 years. Eric Muathe with Muathe.com. Love, light, light, love. Namaste.